Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalrin, and with how often I cover Battle for Azeroth, we're not really seeing a lot of class changes. That's mostly because, for Battle for Azeroth, Blizzard is not really doing a lot of class overhauls. As far as we understand, Legion is an expansion where a lot of our class fantasy and spec fantasy has been realized. What they are doing in Battle for Azeroth though is trying to establish class identity, even buffs that you bring to a raid, but for the most part they're not really radically changing a lot of specs. They're not going to convert Outlaw back into a combat, so we'll still have survival as a melee hunter, maybe a few abilities might be fixed, but for the most part the way it plays now is kind of how it's going to play in the future. The way I'm trying to think about this from a perspective of when I used to play Druid back in Mr. Pandaria. Once Mr. Pandaria came out, there was a lot of radical changes for my Druid compared to how I used to play in Cataclysm, primarily as a boomkin. With the way in Cataclysm I didn't have any burst except for the time I would cyclone an enemy, drop 3 mushrooms under them, cast a Star Surge as the cyclone is fading, and then explode the mushrooms as they're coming out of the cyclone. That was my burst. So when you're giving me Incarnation and Celestial Alignment that all had a different global cooldown, and then you expect for me to be a haste chicken rather than a crit chicken, I honestly was going to leave the game. I was about to quit game that day until I found my favorite class, Rogue. Now, because I found my favorite class, Rogue, I don't think I've really ever had a need to take a break from the game. I've been enjoying Rogue no matter where it's at, and so far, whether it's a combat or Outlaw, I've been able to enjoy it massively. I'm doing a lot of PvE, I'm doing a lot of PvP, whatever I'm interested in, I'm always doing something on my Rogue, while also checking out some of the other classes in case I ever get tired of my Rogue, which is unlikely, but it's a possibility. With Battle for Azeroth, a lot of people are kind of expecting to get a lot of class changes, and a lot of people are looking for mains in current expansion. Since we have so many of these classes transitioning into Battle for Azeroth with not too many radical changes, the way your Affliction Warlock is playing, or your Frost Mage, or your Frost Death Knight, or Red Pally is probably how they're going to play in Battle for Azeroth. So a lot of people have the mentality of what I want to play now instead of a mentality of what can I play long term. So I feel that this video is kind of just a call to action for a lot of people to take a real deep look at what you're playing right now. Can you see you playing the same exact thing until into the next expansion and for the whole duration of that next expansion? We are getting some talent changes. Artifact weapons brought a lot to the table. Besides the big prune that we had in Legion, artifact weapons did bring us some other abilities, at least one active ability, and a plethora of passives. All these passives are going to be gone with the weapons. All the legendaries and the effects are going to be gone for the most part with the weapons. We might see some of those effects resurface in Azurite power and Azurite gear, but that is not 100% confirmed. We do know we'll be able to customize how we want to play, just don't know how much of customizability and what will the effects will be. So right now with Legion, where we have on Tuesday releasing the Antorus raid, we might have a mini raid afterwards in 735-ish or later, no guarantee. We will have a new season on Tuesday as well, or unless you're watching this video on Tuesday, then we already have a new season. In 735 we are expected to have a new leveling system with scalable technology as well as a new battleground. But that is as far as it is planned. And then afterwards, eventually, we'll get into Battle for Azeroth. First with the alpha, then maybe with the betas, maybe a lot more betas, open betas, and then eventually transition into the expansion. So, if you're expecting to play a certain class you're playing right now, or if you have any grievances with the one you're currently playing, right now would be the best time to explore. Learning a new main will benefit you in the game for the longest time. For example, me dropping my Druid for Rogue allowed me to enjoy a class that is far more fun than a Druid became, and allowed me to continue the longevity of the game for me just from the class alone. Back in Warlords of Draenor, where I didn't enjoy most of the PvE, and the PvP was only something I enjoyed when playing with some buddies, I still enjoyed playing my combat rogue. I enjoyed the playstyle, I enjoyed the class, and if you can find a class that is just fun to play no matter what you do, then it doesn't matter how good or bad the content is, you can always log on and have fun with the class, with the spec. It doesn't always have to be what can I do, just having fun on a certain class is a valid reason. Also, learning something that is new can make the game a bit more challenging and be the challenge a lot of people want. Some people can keep playing the game if there's something that you like to play, but also sometimes if it's something that's difficult to play, something that takes skill. So if you find a class, let's say for example you've been a Demon Hunter main forever, and you're kind of tired of just spamming Chaos Strike all day, Yes, while Demon Hunter might have its own skill ceiling, it's not quite as in-depth and complex as Unholy Death Knight or Survival Hunter that spins plates, or the rotation of a Fire Mage and watching for crit procs, or a Warlock and learning how to summon your pets properly and maintain that horde of them, or Subtlety. There's a lot of classes in the game with various amounts of playstyles and various difficulties for various people. So sometimes turning up the difficulty or changing the pacing of the game in general to maybe even an easier pacing with an easier class can sometimes be a more enjoyable experience, a fresh new experience. Learning a new class as well, especially for the preparation for Battle for Azeroth, once the expansion comes out and you finally figured out how to truly play your class by the end of Legion. Once BfA comes out, you can be one of the first few leveling, you can be one of the first few doing dungeons, you can even be one of the first few getting into arenas, PvP, and PvE content. You can be one of the first few people with your new main and a newfound freedom and enjoyment for the game as well as the class you're playing in order to get yourself into the upper echelons early. Take your foot in the door, first step forward into the new expansion, whether you want to explore the PvP content of the next expansion or get serious with the PvE content. And that is so much easier to rush right into it. A lot more people will be able to invite you. You can learn the content faster. You can kind of have your head on the ball, I guess, unless I messed up the expression. And the benefits of the current expansion Legion, we don't really even need to hurry. To be able to get into a whole new class, it's going to be probably the easiest, most relaxing thing ever, or it can be the fastest experience you've ever had. The leveling experience right now is as easy as it can be or as difficult as you want it to be. For example, you can just boost yourself up to full whether you buy the level 100 boost, or whether you wait for Battle for Azeroth and boost a new character that you might be interested in, or simply just power level through dungeons, but you can also make it a lot more interesting. In 7.3.5 we'll get a whole new leveling experience, so it might allow you to be able to go back play another class while exploring a lot more questing areas that you just never explored in the past before. With a new questing experience and a new class to play, it'll give you a lot more, I guess, entertainment just out of leveling a class. You could also take on a challenge like the Iron Man challenge. Even though for some classes the Iron Man challenge doesn't really seem too challenging, you can always just have some sort of a challenge while you learn how to play a whole new class. You can, again, take it as easy as you want, level very simple, very chill, or you can be really heavy set on with it and try to get through the experience as soon as possible so you can start playing at the upper echelons and the high-end content. And even once you reach max level at 110, even though you feel like you've done so much on your main with the way that Argus is set up, that 7.3.2 is set up, and then even 7.3.5 is set up, it feels like there's just so many catch-up mechanics and the item level keeps going up and the research of artifact power keeps going up that in no time you will be able to catch up to wherever your main is at. Currently I have my mage that's a higher item level than my rogue. I barely play my mage on EU, maybe once or twice a week, but because I was lucky with gear that is literally showered to me on Argus, not even doing the new LFR raid, I actually attained a higher item level than I can on my rogue, where in my rogue I'm playing every single day trying to see how I can improve on my gear as well as my playstyle. So with Argus, it is just super easy to pick up, super easy to get into, and super easy to catch up to wherever your main might be at. And let's be honest, getting a whole new class that you can play, especially one that you can main, something that's brand new to learn, something that's fun to play, something that's more up your alley, can be very satisfying compared to playing a class that you just might not feel the same. Blizzard goes through a lot of changes left and right, and sometimes the class just doesn't feel like it used to. When I dropped my druid from a rogue, I haven't really had to look back except for Legion. Once they put up the fact that there's an outlaw rogue, I was a little bit skeptic, but it's basically a combat rogue with a piratey skin. I still enjoy the class that I play, and I'm super happy at the fact that I dropped my druid. Yeah, it took me a while to catch up to where my druid is at, but honestly, in the long run, getting into it during Mr. Pandaria in the middle of one of the longest seasons possible, and that's the first time I reached 1600 in RBGs. Even though I had to do a lot of catching up to my druid, who was way far ahead on gear. He had like tier 2 of every single piece of gear except for few with all the conquest points you had to spend. It didn't matter just how much I had to catch up, or the fact that I had to put in double the effort, or the fact that I'm always going to be behind until the next season. I'm having fun with what I'm playing, and being able to hit it up as soon as the new season comes back, well, after I kind of sort of knew what I was supposed to be doing, not perfected. It felt a lot of fun to be able to catch up and play with everyone else. and kind of similar thing that I did with my Outlaw. I learned the living hell out of it before Legion release through the beta. So once the beta hit into an actual live game, I was able to get in, learn my playstyle fairly quickly, adapt, quest real quick, and start destroying BGs up until we came to the point where all rogues took about like a 40% agility nerf in PvP, which was ridiculous, but Outlaw was literally one-shotting, and I had a lot of fun for like first few weeks with it. Anyway, if you guys are somebody who is just not happy with the game, I honestly would suggest trying to work on a new main right now. You never really know just how much you might enjoy. I mean, I used to play my druid, and I have never had the same amount of inspiration when I played my druid compared to when I play my rogue. Honestly, it was the best decision I ever made, and it just might be for you. Just some word of thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed the channel and what I do here, please give the video a like. The more likes a video gets, the more it gets out to people. I know I post 2 videos a day, but I'm trying to grow my channel. Some people say that may be too many, but I say I still want to grow my channel. This is the schedule I like. So if you support what I do, please give the video a like. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to hit subscribe. If you want to catch live streams, it's a lot easier if you hit the notification button down next to the subscription. It's a bell. Just click it, make sure it's on. You should probably get an email or an alert on YouTube if you're on your phone whenever I start live streaming, so you can catch some of the 551 and other stream shenanigans that we do on live stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you are going to be rerolling and what you're going to be rerolling into, if you have any interest. Thank you guys. I'll see all of you in the next one.